All right, hi guys. Um, I will be returning on Monday, February 9th. So I'm going to lay out your lesson and your task that you will be completing from today on through to February the 3rd. I'm sorry, the 6th, February the 6th. So listen up. This information will be given to you, and you're to follow these steps and instructions so that you can complete everything on time. So you'll be completing an element superhero villain project. You should have already been given your specific element that you're going to be dealing with. So on these sheets, make sure you complete your name, your number, and today's date. Don't worry about the page number or anything like that right now, but make sure you put your element here. I'm going to run through everything here. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me, tweet me, or Facebook me with any questions that you have, so that I can respond to you. I'm answer those questions. Mr. Black or whoever's in the room will also be able to assist you as well with any minor questions, or you can have them email me and I'll respond to the questions. Please don't think that you're bothering me by asking questions, so feel free to email me any questions you have. Things that you are going to need to complete this project: you're going to need your Chromebooks or a computer or laptop. You're going to need to access Google Drive, um, and you're going to need these attached sheets that have been given to you, as well as a blank sheet of paper, which whoever's in the room can provide to you. So the purpose of this project is to help students gain a greater understanding of elements and how they are used in everyday life. The best way to learn about something is to become that something. So you're going to become this element. And we've talked about these types of things before when we did the water cycle, how you became water. So through personification, you're going to be doing this project. So seeing as we can't actually be the element, we are going to create a character that closely represents the element. Your directions. You will conduct research and find information regarding your assigned element. You will complete a My Element worksheet and then create an element superhero or villain comic strip that illustrates this information through a written story that you're going to create about your character and a drawing of the character. The worksheet will be turned in with the comic strip. Your character will have characteristics and an appearance associated with your selected element, and I'll talk about that a little further as we go through the explanation. Follow along with me as I'm reading it. Now, the element superhero villain consists of two components. One, there's going to be a short story that illustrates your superhero or your villain's strength and weaknesses and super qualities. You're going to type on your Chromebook in Google Drive and you're going to share it with me. So start typing. You're going to start typing it in Google Drive. Now, if at any point that you do not finish in class during the given time that's allotted to you, or you see that you have not progressed in the time that is given to you and you need to work on it at home, you can do so in Google Drive if you have access to the internet. If you don't, that's not an excuse. You can work on it in a Word document, and when you get back to school, you can copy and paste it into your Google Drive account. If at any time that you are absent during this project, then you do have homework. You need to be working on whatever was designated for that time for you to be working on. If you feel like you have not progressed in class on what should have been done and what's due at the end of that class time, then you need to be working on it at home as well. So getting back to the instructions that I was reading, when you're typing your story, you need to be typing it into Google Drive and you need to share it with me. We already talked about how to share documents. If you do not remember, ask the Mr. Black or anyone else in the room, but make sure you ask for permission before you get up and start asking questions. So your story must be one page. It has to be 1.5 space. The font has to be 12 point and it should be typed in Times New Roman only. None of that fancy writing, and only use black. Do not do blue, pink, red, purple, yellow, all those fancy colors. I'm going to be looking for appropriate grammar, spelling, punctuation, capitalization, etc. Also, your story must include 8 characteristic properties of the element. Underline each property in the story. This is going to come from your research, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment as well. The other portion of your superhero villain is going to be a colored comic strip of your superhero or your villain. 5 to 8 panels. That means 5 to 8 boxes, like a comic strip. No more than 8, no less than 5. You should be able to cover everything within there. Your comic strip must incorporate at least 5 characteristic properties of the element mentioned in your story. So basically you're going to be illustrating your story in a comic strip. You will need to add short captions with bubbled words to your comic. So your characters in your comic should be speaking through bubbles or a caption that below. But do not rewrite your paper in your comic strip. That's not what I'm looking for. Um, your question probably is, can you incorporate other characters within your comic? Yes, you certainly can because it is a comic strip. But your comic must correspond to the qualities of your superhero or your villain. So, for example, if it's sulfur um, is the element that was chosen for you, then the superhero's uniform or hair or skin must be representative of sulfur. For instance, sulfur is yellow, so your character should have that resemblance of yellow. If your element is high at a melting point, then you may want to include that your superhero can walk through fire because then it wouldn't melt or anything like that. So make sure you think about those types of things. You do have to be very creative. When you're doing your comic strip, you need to make sure you illustrate who your comic is or label what your character is. Because although you may be adding other characters within your comic to make it a comic strip, you need to highlight which one is yours. So maybe your first panel can just be your character, your villain or your superhero. And then from there, panels 2 through 8 or 2 through 5 will be your comic laying out your story that you've written. All right, look here. Students must refer to your evaluation rubric to determine what detailed information must be incorporated into your story and into your drawing, which is your comic strip. The element worksheet is step 1 of this project. It prepares you for your final project. So the things that you're going to be turning in. First, you're going to start your element worksheet. This is what's going to prepare you for your story. Then your story will prepare you for your comic strip, so you cannot go out of order. You're going to be given 2 days to complete your element worksheet. Then you're going to be working on your element superhero villain story, which is going to be turned into Google Drive shared with me. You're going to have 3 days to complete that. So that's from January 29th to February the 2nd. Then you're going to be working on your element superhero villain comic strip. You're going to have 4 days to complete that. Everything must be done by the 6th. If at any time you complete something early, so let's say you're working on your worksheet and you complete it mid-class on the 28th, then you should start on your element superhero villain story. If you complete that, let's say mid-class on the 2nd, then you should start on your comic strip. But your comic strip needs to be completed on the 6th. Remember, if you're working on your worksheet on the 27th and the 28th, and you realize that you have not gotten anything or very little done in the class on the 27th, then you need to be doing some work at home. Or if you feel like you haven't got anything done on the 28th, then again, you need to be doing something at home, completing that, because when you come to class the next day, whatever is designated for that day, that is what you must be working on in class. And if you're absent again, you need to be working on this. My website has been updated, so therefore, if um, if you need to refer to anything, back to anything, what my instructions or anything like that, it is recorded. So you'll click on the video lesson to re-listen to it. If you lose your worksheet, your packet, then you need to click on the attachment so that you can reprint the packet. Also, if you just have any questions or you need to refer back here, then do so. Or you could email me also. All right, moving on. This is your element worksheet. It's 19 points. Make sure you complete it. Pay attention to where the arrows are pointing. These are lines that should be written on. So go through and complete that. Here you're going to be doing research on the internet to find out some historical information about your element and properties or characteristics about your element. And then you're going to be looking at common and important uses. Once you finish that, you have 2 days to finish that. So make sure you get everything in detail. You do not have to write incomplete sentences on this sheet. On the days designated, you're going to be working on your story, which again is going to be submitted through Google Drive, share it with me, and then you're going to be working on your comic strip. And here is your rubric, breaking down all of your points. So make sure you read the rubric. I'm not going to read it to you so you can get the maximum points deserved to you. This is going to be a total of 50 points, so it's going to be your amount of points out of 50, which is going to have your grade. It does count 3 times because it is a project. And actually on the back of your rubric is where you can do your comic. If you need an extra sheet of paper, then get an extra sheet of paper, but on the back of the rubric, so that you can just turn in all of these sheets and everything can be kept together. Please do not lose these sheets. If you do so, you must reprint it yourself or recopy it so that you can turn everything in. Be responsible. The other thing, I want you to be creative. So that means you have to take your time. Do not rush through it. So if you're given a certain amount of time, use that time. Use all of your time. Don't rush so that you can hurry up and hand it in, because you're not going to be able to do anything else except work on this project. And I'm looking for creativity. Please do not let me come back and you've bored me to death with projects that you have not taken your time on and had fun with. So the purpose is to learn and to have fun. So be creative with it. Again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to tweet me, Facebook me, or email me. I'll have my phone with me so that I can respond to your emails for questions about the project. Do not just be sending me frivolous emails just because I said email me. So it's questions about the project, or you can ask Mr. Black and he'll email me as well. All right, guys, have fun. I'll talk to you soon, and I will see you on the 9th.